What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance. And today, Shawn, is a special day. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a very, very, very long time. And now that it's over, or at least the heyday of it is over, I feel like this is a good time to bring it up because we're going to talk about the good thing. We're going to talk about Disney Plus today, Shawn.
Yes. We're
going to talk about the good stuff about it. And then we're going to talk about what I find to be the fundamental problem with it.
Okay. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and maybe the misstep of Disney Plus.
Yes, exactly.
Well, why don't we start out with the good, like the exciting? It was what got everybody to jump in, right? So you and I both were talking back and forth about how about October they had these like ridiculously good, like buy a year-long subscription to Disney Plus at half the cost.
Yeah.
I thought about it, but it was like holiday season, so I was like, I'll kind of wait and see. And
that's what I did too. It was like, I think it was like $60 for the whole year.
No, I think it was like $49.99 because for the year, because it's $6.99 a month. And I think for the year it's like just over $70. So I think it was like $50.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're like me, you're like, well, I'm in the bag for this. I mean, it's all the Disney movies and they got all the original content. So why wouldn't I do this?
And they got Star Wars movies on there, which I'll get into that in a bit. But
so you and I both opted not to do that. We did the month to month. I did the Hulu and ESPN Plus option, which
that's exactly what I did too. Even though I watch the reason I did is because I watch, Shawn, all the ESPN because I love sports ball.
You know, if
when
you
they
want to ask me,
the basket in the goal.
So ESPN Plus is crap.
Is it?
It's legit crap. Like
never haven't. I've had it for 3 months. I haven't watched a single bit of it.
I've watched maybe 15 minutes of it. I got the deal too because I was like, well, Hulu on Strange Indeed we cover Castle Rock, so I needed it for that.
Okay.
And I was like, well, maybe this ESPN Plus is kind of cool because I'm like, they probably have like Sports Center on there, right? No Sports Center. They just have like a few clip shows. You can watch all the 30 for 30s, and they have some like weird sports like women's NAIA college shuffleboard championships.
Oh, that shit they air on ESPN at like 4 PM on a Saturday
on Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not worth it for that.
I also did the bundle. The reason I did the bundle is because I was already paying for Hulu, and so if I got the bundle, I think I saved like $1.
Yeah,
you
month. Don't save much.
No, if you get the bundle, because I was paying like $5.99 for Hulu, and with Disney Plus it would have been like $13 total, but with this deal it's like $11.99. So it's like, I'll save $1. Okay, whatever, it's fine.
Which is okay. I mean, it's nice to see that they're doing something with that.
Well, they have that National Geographic thing too. You know what I'm talking about?
No, is that the only thing I saw was Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus.
No, you get that National Geographic thing too.
Isn't that on Disney Plus?
Well, yeah, but I thought that was like part of the deal that's included in there.
No, I think that's just part of Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. All right. That works for me. I'm down.
Yeah, I'll have to try. I actually just recently canceled my Disney Plus.
Oh.
Because I don't want the ESPN or Hulu anymore.
Right.
So I'm just going to do the $6.99. The crappy thing with Disney Plus is that when you do the bundle, you can't just say, I want to like downgrade my bundle to just Disney Plus. You have to completely cancel your subscription, let it lapse, and then re-sign up.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so it's not very convenient there.
Well, I mean, when it comes to like canceling something, I feel like it's never convenient. Like you always have to. You ever try to cancel an Amazon Prime membership? Oh my God. It's like trying to crack the fucking Da Vinci Code when you're trying to cancel an Amazon Prime membership. You got to dig through like 3 different sites and you got to find like very small, like super small text
Yeah.
in
And
the
you know
middle
what
of a
it is?
page.
It's always like a little bitty link that's not blue, like a regular link, like what God intended links to look like. And it's like this I confirm, like super lowercase font, like weird. Like I confirm that I don't want to do this anymore.
And then they'll ask you these like, this like backward roundabout way to like, are you sure you don't want to keep your subscription? Maybe don't. If you want to cancel, yes, no.
Don't want to cancel, right?
And then you're like, what? No.
And then when you click that, and then it's like, do you want to sign up? Do you not want to sign up for a year of Amazon Prime? And you click that, and they charge your card. Like, well, damn it! All right, well, I guess I'm signed up.
Yeah. And then your wife gets mad at you, and she's like, why are we still paying for Amazon Prime? You're like, I've tried to cancel it like 4 times.
It's like, will you call them? It's like, well, I mean, I tried to call Mr. Amazon.
Who do I call?
Yeah. There's no phone number. Yeah, Sling TV, I had that. It was kind of like that, where I went to cancel it, and I'm like trying to dig through, and by the time like you spend like 3 hours on it, you're like, fuck it. Take my $20 a month.
Just have it. I'm done. You win this time, Sling TV.
But so it came out. Mandalorian dropped what, like mid-October, mid-November?
November. It was like second week in November.
I think that's when I signed up for Disney Plus.
That is when I signed up for it. I signed up for it on launch day.
Yeah. So I think it was even a couple days. Like I think there was like 2 or 3 episodes out before I started watching it. And what they're doing different, and I think a lot of the other streaming services are kind of taking note. Hulu kind of does this, but Hulu on launch day of a new season, they drop the first 3 episodes and then they do weekly.
Yeah.
But it sounds like what Disney Plus is going to do is they're going to drop 1 a week. So more traditional TV style releasing.
Well, and they kind of shuffled it. They kind of shuffle it around too, because for example, on the first week, you had 1 episode on launch day. It's like, so the day it launched, there was episode 1, and then like 3 days later on that Friday, because I think the service started on like a Tuesday. On that Friday, there was another episode. Now, Friday was their weekly schedule. Their new episodes came out on Friday.
Except for the week of Star Wars. The Rise of Skywalker.
Except for that week. On that week, they released on Wednesday.
Yeah, which, spoiler alert, I think the reason they did that is because you see the cutest thing in the world, Baby Yoda. I think he used force healing in that episode. And so I think that was like the thing they wanted you to see before you would see Star Wars.
That was them planting the seed.
Yeah. Like, just in case you miss it, the 2 other times we do it in the movie, here's Baby Yoda doing it.
We wrote a whole scene about it with a fucking snake.
Yeah.
But just in case you missed it,
here's Baby Yoda.
Fucking Baby Yoda.
Were you spoiled on that? So let's talk about Mandalorian. That's the best place to start, I think.
Yes.
So
that's I mean, spoiler alert, isn't that all we have to talk about when it comes to Disney Plus?
I think we can kind of talk about our opinions on Disney Plus after, but yeah, so right now we're going to talk about Mandalorian, skip ahead, and then at some point we'll start talking about Disney Plus itself. So
yeah,
right now is Mandalorian, spoilers, and then at some point we'll be done. Probably 30 minutes. So scan 30 minutes. So at the 30-minute mark, I'll tell you if we're still talking about it or
we'll
not.
timestamp it.
But yeah, so Mandalorian comes out, and sorry, my question was, were you spoiled on the Baby Yoda?
I was not.
All right, so I was, and that's kind of what got me to be like, oh, okay, well, I want to watch it. What was your thoughts on that last scene in the pilot episode where you see this Baby Yoda hand sticking out?
Oh shit. Honestly, I can't honestly remember, because that was,
it's like 2 months ago, yeah.
That was almost 3 months ago. How did I feel? I was surprised. I was like, holy shit. I was like, it's a baby whatever that is.
Yeah, because there's no name for the Yoda species. There's only been 2.
There's never been
two on TV, right? Or 2 in any kind of film. Yoda, and then there's a girl.
There's a pink one, but that's not even confirmed to be like of the same species.
But in the prequels, in the Jedi Council, isn't there a hologram one?
Possibly. I thought you were talking about in episode 1 at the very end. When they have that stupid parade with the Gungans, there's a Jedi that looks similar to Yoda but is pink.
Oh, okay.
It is pinkish color.
No, the one I was talking about that everybody kind of mentioned was, I don't remember. They have a name for her, but it was a female Jedi version of Yoda. That was, you saw like a hologram of her in the Jedi Council. I think in episode 2 or something.
Oh, that must be why I don't remember, because I blocked that entire movie out of.
Yeah, because that's what everybody was like. So when you see Baby Yoda, you're like, okay, well, what the fuck is this? Because it's a 50-year-old baby. Which
that's the other thing. Which they you only get like that little bit like twice, where you're like, wait a minute, it is a baby, but like they're saying that baby's 50 years old.
Because Yoda was what, 800 when he died?
900.
But, I mean, so there's tons of questions there. I didn't like the cooing and baby sounds. I wish they kind of made something a little bit more, like, non-human. But, I mean, you see and like I said, I was spoiled on it, but even when I saw it, it still kind of gave me, like, my heart, like, kind of palpitated a little bit. Because you see the little hand. And, you know, you kind of learn that this is really similar to a samurai story about a samurai and a child. Like you
exactly.
See, like, this is what this tale will be.
You know, it's funny. Like when I was first talking to you about the show, I was like, oh, it's a Star Wars Western.
Yeah. Yeah, and you kind of mentioned that I still feel like it's got a little bit of a Star Wars Western feel to it. But it's definitely influenced by, you know, a lot of samurai culture.
By the end of it, I was like, this isn't a Western. This is a fucking samurai movie. It's a fucking Kurosawa movie.
Yeah.
It's like Hidden Fortress.
Which I guess a lot of those movies were the inspiration for some spaghetti Westerns and stuff too. So,
and also a lot of inspiration that George Lucas had for, you know, the original trilogy. Like he loved Kurosawa movies. Hidden Fortress, Seven Samurai, the other ones. Okay, so no, I was not spoiled on Baby Yoda, but can I just say, and I'm sure I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that child brings people together.
Oh, he does. He or she, I guess we don't know.
It's one thing that the internet agrees upon. Like, and I'm talking about the internet. Like we ravage each other on Twitter and Facebook.
The internet will disagree with you just to shit in your mouth.
Exactly. For no other reason than to just stare at you and laugh.
Yeah. But this one, if anybody like shits on Baby Yoda, like instantly blocked. I haven't seen anybody criticize.
You
know why? Because they get kicked off the internet if they do.
Probably.
They get shadow banned from the internet.
Yeah.
There's people who are like, why is my Netscape not working?
Yeah. BW Internet Smith shows up with his monocle and takes your internet card away.
I love that. So, I mean, I've been listening to a little bit of like discussions and backstories on stuff. And so apparently it's a puppet. Like it's an actual thing.
Yes, you can look at it and you're like, that's a puppet.
Yeah, but what they wanted to do is they had a spot where they're doing a take, and they had the puppet in there, and they do the take, and then they take it away, and they're like, all right, well now we're going to do it with like green screen stuff, like we're going to basically do it so we can do CGI. And the actor, I can't remember who it was. It wasn't the guy playing the Mandalorian, but one of the actors
was the same Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
but it was one of the other guys. And when they're getting ready to shoot like the scene, he basically called like the whole, like, you guys are all gutless. Like, you're trying to do this CGI thing instead of this puppet the way it should be.
Oh shit!
Because they said when they brought that puppet out, like people wept on set.
Oh my!
Like it was just so goddamn cute. Like you wanted it to be real. It's like a Mogwai.
Oh my god! Imagine seeing see that's the thing is like I watch it on on my television and I'm like, oh my god, that thing is so fucking cute.
It is.
Shawn, I'm a 37-year-old man. I didn't think a lot of things could like like I'm not the kind of person that like picks up a puppy and it's like I see that baby Yoda, those big old ears. Those big fucking eyes. And I'm saying like, oh my god, you are the cutest thing in the world. I just want to squeeze you and save you from the Empire.
Yeah, and this thing's like, well, I'll squeeze you and choke your neck too.
Yeah.
It does. Like it protects him. That part's crazy. But yeah, I mean, you see that scene and it's a 50-year-old baby who is still very innocent. I like that they didn't bury the lead too much on that it is a force-sensitive creature.
Yes. Like you get that by episode 2.
Yeah, so you see it, you're like, holy shit, that's Baby Yoda. And the only thing that people have been shitting on the internet is like, well, it's not Baby Yoda. Yoda's not the species. You're like...
Yeah, and then you're like, well, what the fuck do you call it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, green Star Wars creature. Even though Star Wars isn't mentioned at all in the show because Star Wars is what we call it. It's Baby Yoda. Get over yourself.
Yeah, no shit, right? It's not Baby Yoda. I'm like, yeah, okay. What the fuck am I supposed to call it? You tell me what to call it. Internet.
And the internet's like, no, we agree with you. It's Baby Yoda. That guy got kicked off the internet. But yeah, you see Baby Yoda. You figure out that he is force sensitive. So you're like, holy shit, this little package of joy is, obviously like in Yoda's class of Jedi power.
Yes.
I like the connection. So episode 2, we see them. So the Mandalorian essentially saves the baby from the droid that was trying to take it. Shoots him in the head.
Shoots him in the head. Yeah.
Yeah. And
because at first he kills they kill a bunch of, I'm guessing, criminals. I don't know.
God, wasn't that scene awesome? Like, there's a lot of good like action scenes in this.
Very much so. So they kill those. Then he kills the droid because the droid's going to kill the baby.
Yeah. Like it can come in cold or warm. I choose cold. I hate things that breathe air. Bang.
And then he takes the baby back to Nick Nolte, who
he did,
surprisingly enough, wore no makeup in this show.
Yeah,
that's what Nick Nolte looks like.
Yeah. They're like, what kind of creature are you? And he came in like, oh, well, guess that's what you are. I saw Nick Nolte in the most recent, like the Olympus Has Fallen with Gerard Butler.
I've heard of them, but I haven't watched any of them.
I've seen them all in theaters just because they come out like when there's nothing out. And they're like, okay, like movie theater movies.
I think that's by design.
Yeah. And I went and saw the third one and he's in it. And it actually wasn't bad. There are some pretty funny parts with Nick Nolte. So I feel like Nick Nolte's making.
And you're like, why does he look like that guy from The Mandalorian? Oh
no, I hope my cheeks don't look like that when I get old.
Mr. President, I have spoken.
That's good, Nick Nolte.
Thanks. All you gotta do is just
grovel a little bit.
Yeah. You just add like 70 years of nothing but hard liquor.
Yeah, he does have that brown liquor body, doesn't he?
To your voice. So he's an Ochnot, which you see them in Empire. They're on Bespin.
And there wasn't a ton of fan service in this too. Like I thought it was a really well done post return of like setting.
Yes. I was kind of a bit curious on something at the very, very end, but I mean, we'll get into that later.
Okay. So yeah, you see him, he takes Baby Yoda, brings him back. There's the cute scene where Baby Yoda tries to take his little, knob on his gear shift.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people are like, well, Yoda liked little trinkets and stuff too. Like he kept stealing Luke's stuff. So like maybe this is that species thing. They just like to, either cause like. Yeah.
And then everybody's like, shut up. It's a fucking baby.
Babies like shiny things.
Babies like fucking shiny shit.
He takes him. So this was the only like shitty part about it because like I liked his outfit, like his armor and stuff. Like it kind of looked like it was just beat up and like rough. But he takes Baby Yoda to whoever the main guy was that wanted to essentially pay for this.
I can't remember the actor's name, but I fucking love that actor.
And the scene too, like they did a great job with utilizing like stormtroopers in this, because it seemed like this is legit like how it would be like these stormtroopers, you know, their empire has fallen. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's would be these like warlord type, you know, sergeants who got away. Yeah. And so they're trying to like keep up these small resistance. And the stormtroopers' uniforms just look like crap.
Yeah, they're all dirty, grungy and fucking.
Because they're essentially like not hired assassins. They're more like hired mercenaries at this point.
Yeah, basically.
You know, they're just trying to make it day to day because it's like, well,
or at least these ones are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would imagine some other ones would probably just drop their gear and go farm moisture, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
like he goes, you do. And he gets the stuff he needs to make his Mandalorian outfit.
Yeah.
He goes, makes his Mandalorian outfit, and then he comes back feeling all bad and blue, and he's like, well, guess it's time to go John Wick. And fucking kills everybody.
Yeah, he does. Well, he gets his stuff. He gets his armor, and then doesn't something happen in between there? He gets his armor.
Well, he gets his armor, and then he's kind of like, before he leaves, he's like, well, what are you going to do with the kid? And the stormtrooper's like, we don't pay you to know that or whatever. And so he gets his armor, walks back, and he sees the baby carriage in like a trash can.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like,
fuck this.
Yeah, I can't stand for this. That green little fucker's cute. That's what the internet said. Leroy Jenkins.
Fuck yeah, he did. With his pistol and his fucking disintegrator rifle.
So how'd you feel about him getting like the shiny uniform right away? Like the shiny
I was fine with it. I liked it. Because, okay, so like, I mean, you saw basically like he got after like basically like 2 fights, like the stuff he was wearing was fucking done.
Yeah.
Like no good.
And he had the first job, he got a little bit of stuff. So he had like a new like shoulder guard.
Yeah.
But the job he did here got him everything. But essentially he stole that stuff. I mean, he could have just walked in there, shot the guy up, and taken all that stuff to make his armor.
Yeah.
But he basically did a job, got his gear, and then decided like he couldn't stand for that. Which I guess all that stuff is technically Mandalorian armor anyway. So it's stolen from, which isn't his tribe because he's a foundling.
Well, the Empire took all the Beskar steel they had during the Purge, and then so this Mandalorian got a bunch of Beskar back and made him and got his fucking suit made.
Yeah,
because this is the way, Sean.
What'd the Empire do with all that? Do you know? Like, did
with
they
all the Beskar?
Yeah, did they have a plan for it, or did they just like, fuck you, Mandalorians?
I don't know. What
I'd like to see a series of, because I know people had talked about like the Mandalorians and Jedi had like a big battle.
They did. This was way back in the day. This was like Old Republic era.
Yeah, that's
kind of days.
That's the TV series I want to see. That'd be badass.
Fucking there was Mando the Invincible or Mandalore the Great. I don't remember which one it was. Fighting against the Jedi.
Yeah. But I mean, they didn't dwell on it too much.
Who wielded a special weapon? Spoiler for the end, but anyway.
Is it the weapon we saw at the end?
Yes.
Okay. So we see him get his gear. He goes back in. He saves Baby Yoda.
Yep.
And what I like about this show, kind of after episode 1 and 2, each of the other episodes, besides the last one, probably you can kind of watch in any order. Like they're very kind of like specific, you know. Like the best way I could think of it is if like you were reading like Hardy Boy novels, right?
Yeah, like I could see that.
Each
like
one
they don't. It doesn't really tie together. They don't really tie together until like the last 2.
Yeah, which I don't mind. Like it's you know, here's the episode of the week kind of thing.
Well, no, I guess I'm saying that like the last 2 tie the other ones together.
Yeah, for the most part. But yeah, you can watch the first two, and then you can watch the last two. Like, you probably need to watch those in that order. But in the middle, you can kind of mix and match. But
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of like that idea because it seems more realistic to this too, because it's the Empire's fallen. Everybody is just trying to struggle to figure out, like, okay, well, what's next? Like, how, like, all right, well, these credits.
Where am I getting my next meal?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you think about like the big imperial war.
Yeah.
Like, most of the people in these planets are probably like, okay, well, who's leading now? Like, I don't care. Just I have to sell my moisture to somebody.
Yeah.
So that I can get credits. Whose credits are we using?
But in Mando's case, he needs to not only figure out where his next meal's coming from, he's got to make sure that nobody finds this fucking baby.
Yeah, and I think it was like episode 4 or 5 when he's at that planet where the locals are basically attacking, which I thought was a great episode. And
Yeah.
and the episodes were pretty small too. Like some were like 35, but none were really over 45 or 50 minutes long.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of stuff that you kind of had to be like, well, that seemed to happen kind of quick. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, there's probably like a week or two in there, but they just kind of sped it up because, you know, they didn't want to dwell on, you know, okay, here's Mando here for 14 days eating and just hanging out.
Yeah. Okay. So overall, I would say that there was definitely like two in my head. I could like probably like 2 episodes that are easily forgettable.
Okay, which ones?
I wasn't huge on the Prison Break episode, and
I liked it.
And the one before that, I think, where they're in the desert.
Was the desert one where he fights?
They go to Mos Eisley.
That's not the Jawa one, though, right?
No, that's 2.
What are they do in the desert one? I don't remember.
See, exactly. Like he lands on Tatooine, and then he hooks up with some guy that's trying to.
Oh yeah, and he's got to go get that. They're going after the chick.
Yeah, who's an assassin.
Yeah, he ends up killing her. Well, that was the one where that was the first time you saw Baby Yoda in peril. Because he's got a gun to Baby Yoda's head, and like you could feel the whole internet be like, that fucker shoots that Baby Yoda.
We're done.
I will find that actor and write him an angry letter.
We're going to find Bob Iger and beat his ass.
That one wasn't too bad. It wasn't great, but
see, like I said, it was easily forgettable. I feel like, I guess I'm just saying that I feel like there was a couple episodes that were kind of fluffed in there to kind of pad the show.
Yeah, I see there was quite a few to kind of get, like those were more episodes, I think, to get a feel of the Mandalorian himself. Yeah. Because like when you see him, he's this bounty hunter and he doesn't care, but you know, he obviously cared about Baby Yoda at some point and kind of built a bond with him.
You know, he's a person and that's what all of us do.
God, when he handed him that little ball off the gear shift.
Yeah.
I wept, Richard. I wept like the first time I saw Old Yeller. The Prison Break one I liked because it was kind of a cool kind of FU. Like the dude from Sons of Anarchy is like trying to take and screw him over. And they're like, blow him out of the sky.
There was one thing I didn't like, and this is just me being a fucking peculiar like nerd. Okay. Twi'leks. The brother and sister that were in that Prison Break episode.
Got the little
right
tentacles.
So the way Twi'leks biologically are usually is the males will have one kind of like thing coming off their head, usually kind of curling around their neck or just kind of hanging in the back.
Oh yeah.
Females will have 2. In that episode, that male Twi'lek has 2. And I don't know why, but it fucking bothered me.
Is that because the only other Twi'lek that I can remember was with Jabba, right? The one that first sees that
you see in the movies?
Yeah.
Yes.
So could that
yes, he's a male Twi'lek.
And he only has one.
And the female Twi'leks have, like I said, have 2. I think the dancer that's in Jabba's palace, the first dancer is a female Twi'lek.
So is it maybe like kind of like how humans, like some males have Well, most males have one penis, but then sometimes, like, some females have a penis too. Is it that, like, because there's this one time in college, Richard, where, like, I met this girl, and that's what she told me. She's like, hey, some
what was
girls
her
have
name?
penises.
Her name was Steve?
It was Jeanette. Or was it Joe? Was it Joe?
It was Jeanette. Jeanette, but I have a nickname. You can call me John.
Why do I have to bend over?
That's not how the sexing works. Is it? I don't know. First time.
College is weird.
When in Rome, you mean Greece. Ow! So.
Oh, we're at the 30-minute mark. So if you moved here, we're still talking about Mandalorian.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So,
like, yeah, that was what they're talking about. Shawn's experimenting in college.
That's my only. I would say that's my only. Like, you know, I guess that was just a weird nerdy hang up I had.
Yeah, I get that. I feel like sometimes Star Wars.
That's not how a male Twi'lek is supposed to look. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like Star Wars kinds of bends that line a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk. Wait. Okay. So Dave, the two people behind this show are Jon Favreau, who, you know, fucking. How do you not know who he is?
How does he have time? I guess is a great question.
Right? How the fuck?
Because he wrote like half these episodes, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he's on a showrunner. I mean, it's his name. It's his name behind the desk. But the other big name is Dave Filoni, who Dave Filoni, I secretly like have a man nerd crush on, because Dave Filoni is the reason he was the writer. He was the showrunner for Clone Wars. He was the showrunner for Rebels, and he was working hand in hand with Favreau on this. Why that man has not been put in charge, not necessarily of directing a movie, but at least for, you know, producing a movie is beyond me.
Did he write any episodes, or did he just?
I'm not sure if he wrote episodes for Mandalorian, but he was the showrunner for the Clone Wars TV series and for the Rebels TV series.
Let's see. The main thing. So you talked about the prison episode as being one that you didn't really care for. It had some of the better lines though, like when they were talking about the one sniper assassin guy, where he talks about like, oh, he fought with the Empire, and Mandalorian's like, well, that says a lot. And he's like, I wasn't a fucking stormtrooper, asshole. And then we also get to see later that like stormtroopers not being able to shoot very well is canon. Like that's a legit thing.
Yes,
because you had the two assholes, the one who punched Baby Yoda like 3 times,
right?
Shoot at a cannon, miss.
So Filoni actually directed 2 episodes.
Okay.
The Bryce Dallas Howard fucking directed an episode.
Yeah, Ron Howard's daughter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a pretty big deal about her directing directing one of them.
That's crazy. She's the chick that's in the fucking the newer Jurassic World movies.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. But I guess the big directing credit, which was the very last episode, which you want to talk about a guy, how the fuck does this man have time? The season finale was directed by fucking Taika.
And he's doing what?
He's the guy that did Thor Ragnarok.
Oh,
he's doing the next Thor movie. He did that Jojo Rabbit.
I haven't seen yet. I've heard that's pretty good.
Like, I'm like, where the fuck does this guy have time to do anything? Yeah, he's doing the new Thor movie. He's I think he's doing the fucking Suicide Squad movie too.
No, that's the guy who did Galaxy, James Gunn.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right, James Gunn. He's in it. He's just not. He's not doing a.
Oh, that seems like that's got to be awkward coming into work for Disney.
I know, right?
Marvel. So yeah, so we learn about that. We get to see Baby Yoda get hit 3 times, which angered the world.
Yeah.
Did you hear? I don't know a ton about it, but did you hear about that they created or are utilizing some new technology that basically creates like this VR world, and that's how they were able to shoot a lot of this stuff?
No.
I don't 100% understand it. I don't think it's actually like green screen. It's like actual screens that create this like virtual world that the actors can go through. So instead of having to go like to these different places on set, they build kind of these smaller sets and they use these screens to kind of capture the rest of it. So it makes the actors only have to go to one place and they can move these sets in and out. And I guess the way Feige talked a little bit about it, but not a ton because he didn't want the technology to be the big conversation for this show. But apparently this will like revolutionize how TV shows and stuff get filmed.
Motherfucker.
Because it's going to make it easier, cheaper. And so that's why, like, I think somebody had said, like, a show like this would not be possible, like, 5 or 10 years ago because of all the set stuff you'd have to do. But because it's like, okay, well, we're shooting, you know, in our studios, we're shooting Mandalorian from 8 to 12. And then from 1 to 6, we're going to shoot Hawkeye and, you know, Winter Soldier. Because,
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So, like, it's like this is the greatest time to be alive because that's like, you know, green screen probably revolutionized a lot of stuff. Like, this is the next step.
Yeah. Yeah. Quick side step. You were asking what all Taika has done. So, like I said, he directed this episode of Mandalorian. He directed the last Thor movie. He's directing the new Thor movie. He is also the voice of Korg.
Oh, yeah. Piss off,
and
Ghost.
Get back, Ghost. Hey, 3 feet to log on to the Wi-Fi. He is also, apparently in The Mandalorian, he's also the voice of the droid.
So let's talk about the droid.
IG-11.
Yeah, so let's talk about the droid a little bit. Like, that is like the best babysitter of all time.
Right?
Which, I mean, you talk about redemption stories, perfect redemption story right there. Like, it was going to kill Baby Yoda. And in the end is what saved Baby Yoda.
Yep, 100%.
And gave up his life for Baby Yoda. Like, that's...
That was a great fucking droid.
Yeah, well, and it was a great callback, too, because, like, the very first, like... Because the first episode of any show you watch, you're trying to figure it out. And there's the whole, like, oh, I got to self-destruct because of blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. And then what happens, like, the payoff is like...
Stop trying to self-destruct.
Yeah. But that's the payoff, like, 7 episodes later, where he's like, oh, I have to self-destruct to save everybody here. And waddles through there. And great. Before we talk about the end, what do you know about the Mandalorian sigils?
It's basically like you know, once somebody, you know, if once there's a person that you know, defeats a very powerful enemy, then that's incorporated into a personal sigil, and then they're allowed to form their own clan. Okay,
so like now that Mandalorian did his, because it's what was her, like, the clan of 2 is what they called it. So essentially he could have more people in his clan of 2.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he just join another clan? Do you know?
It might be because of the way his upbringing was.
Gotcha. Be interested to see, like, what makes you decide to be like, no, I'm gonna start my own clan. Or it's like, hey, do you want to join my band? No, I want to do my own band.
Get my mixtape.
Okay. Yeah, I thought, and I like the sigil too, because it's kind of a...
it does look cool.
Yeah.
I did like the look of it.
I don't really get it, because it kind of looks like a rhino. A little bit, like with a super long horn.
Yeah.
But that's what we can get as tattoos, Richard. Do you want to do that? Richard, that's actually what we should get tattoos of.
Yeah, I like
we're the
it.
clan of 2.
I would get it. I like this idea.
Ooh, okay. Because that's one you could get, like, somewhere small pretty easily.
In Mandalorian culture, families were referred to as clans. Each clan worked under a particular house or political faction.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it is kind of like a beast type thing with a horn.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, now I know my next tattoo.
I like it.
Okay, so into the movie or into the TV show, we see the old.
We see like proper stormtroopers.
We do
like proper, like all decked in the nines and pearly white armor stormtroopers, not this grungy bullshit.
A nice TIE fighter, and we get to see the Mandalorian take down said TIE fighter.
We see the fact. We see also in the last episode, you finally get to realize that even the stormtroopers don't realize, like, can't figure out why they can't hit anything.
Yeah, they throw a can out and they both shoot and miss.
Yeah,
like shaking the gun.
Like they they shoot at like 3 or 4 times, and both of them like shoot 3 or 4 times, and they both miss, and they're just like, well.
I feel like that was a little too much fan service.
That one I kind of liked.
I mean, I liked it, but I liked it.
I feel like you kind of have to. I feel like that's something like you have to like
tread lightly with.
Well, I guess I'm saying like I feel like it's something you kind of have to like because we've all asked ourselves that question, like, why can't these there's 50 million of them shooting at you, why do they always miss?
But that scene itself kind of had like a YouTube feel to it, like
it was a little bit of a fourth wall break.
Yeah, but even their conversations back and forth, because they get back and I think they realize like, oh yeah, so and so showed up and killed basically our whole team. Yeah, so we're just gonna wait out here.
Yeah, I'm always been a fan of stormtrooper banter. Whenever I play like a Star Wars game, and you're like coming up and you see 2 stormtroopers or something, a lot of times like they'll sit there and like chit chat, you know, and then you like run up and shoot them in the face or whatever. But a lot of times like I'll hang back and just listen to them talk for a minute or two.
I do. I mean, there is a bit of like well, it's a living kind of feel with them.
a little.
I do dig that. Because, I mean, like, these guys, it's like, well, they just killed all of our teammates. Well, I'm not going in yet. Like, let's let this thing calm down, and then we'll show up. Because I really don't want to die. But the TIE fighter gets taken down, Richard, and what do we see at the end?
With Moff Gideon.
Is that a Star Wars?
I haven't heard of him in the stories that I know. I mean, just basically what I can piece together from what they were talking about in the show. Moff Gideon, obviously he has the title of Moff, so he's basically in the Imperial hierarchy. He's basically can think of him like a 4-star admiral.
Okay, but like, is he in like Star Wars lore at all, or is he a new character?
That I don't know.
Okay. But what's the weapon he's wielding at the end? You said that there's a very special weapon.
It is a very special weapon, Shawn. That's the dark saber. The
dark saber?
Yes.
Is it a specific, like, one-of-a-kind saber, or is it a type?
It is a specific one-of-a-kind saber.
Okay.
It was... So during the... Earlier, you were talking about the war between the Jedi and the Mandalorians. There was the leader of the Mandalorians, who was Mando the Indomitable or something like that. But he had this weapon called the Darksaber, which looked exactly like it did in the fucking TV show. It was imagine a lightsaber, but it kind of like, even the shape of the blade is kind of more of a katana shape, and the whole thing and the saber's black.
Okay.
But it's basically been used throughout Mandalorian culture as like this sign that unifies the Mandalorian houses against a common enemy.
So this is the guy who has like essentially King Arthur's Star Wars sword that shouldn't have King Arthur's Star Wars sword.
Yeah, basically. It's like so the first appearance of the Darksaber was in the Clone Wars cartoon.
Oh, nice.
The Mandalorian houses are, there's this political intrigue and stuff that goes on Mandalore. And actually, the saber eventually winds up in the hands of Darth Maul. So Darth Maul.
Darth Maul?
Yes. Robot bottom Darth Maul.
Yeah.
So Maul has the Darksaber, and he, apparently the last known thing was it was with Maul. In the Rebels TV series, there's a character on there who's a Mandalorian, but she ends up in Maul's sanctum or whatever. She finds the Darksaber and she takes the saber back to Mandalore and basically uses it as like a rallying cry against the Empire.
Okay.
So before this TV show, the last known location of the Darksaber was on Mandalore. Now in the show, they're talking about how this Moff Gideon knows the Mandalorian's real name.
That's right, yeah.
And they talk about how he worked Imperial intelligence. He was a member of the ISB, which is the Imperial Security Bureau, which is basically like the CIA of the Empire. So apparently, I mean, as far as I can figure, the Empire collapses. Moff Gideon, who I'm guessing was stationed on Mandalore at some point, steals the Darksaber, and so he has it.
So that's really going to be the big setup for season 2. Is this guy in the saber?
Is Moff Gideon and the Darksaber? Which if Mando gets a hold of the Darksaber, like basically he could be declared the Mandalore.
Well, and I mean the Mandalorians are kind of hurting right now.
Right.
So is it, and that like glow around it, that's like a lightsaber crystal, right?
I'm not actually sure how the Darksaber itself was designed.
I gotcha.
I just know, just kind of the bits and pieces that I've caught in the show or in the various TV shows.
I gotcha.
But it's a black bladed lightsaber.
It looked badass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so we're about at the 50-minute mark. So if you're still listening, we're still talking about Mandalorian. But do you have anything else you want to add to Mandalorian before we tie into the not so great stuff about Disney Plus?
The Darksaber was created by Tar Vizsla, and Tar Vizsla was the very first Mandalorian ever inducted into the Jedi Order.
So there was a Mandalorian Jedi?
Yes, he was the first Mandalorian Jedi. Oh, the hiccup I had, speaking of this, is the Mandalorian is talking to the mother, the foundry mother.
Oh yeah.
About the armor, about like, hey, where's where am I gonna find this baby's family? And she talks about a race of ancient sorcerers called Jedi. Like, I know that the Jedi were kind of not necessarily wiped from history, but they were given a very terrible reputation at the least. But I didn't think they were completely removed from everyone's knowledge.
Yeah, it'd still be a common understanding of what a Jedi was.
Maybe not common understanding, but like you knew the name, like, oh, there were Jedi. And like, I guess if they, if she would have said, the word Jedi, and then the Mandalorian was like, oh, I heard they were fucking terrible and they eat babies in the middle of the night, and they, basically like a boogeyman kind of scenario.
Yeah.
Like not completely forgotten, almost like a bad myth.
I don't know. And I almost see it kind of like it'd be like the Pony Express. Like, not everybody maybe understands 100% what the Pony Express did, but if you talked about it, like, oh, okay, well, there were these group of people that rode horses and delivered mail. Like, there'd be some common knowledge to that.
Yeah.
They did kind of seem like Jedi. I've never heard of this thing.
Yeah.
But all in all, I'm excited for season 2. We get it next fall, 2021 or 2020. So we don't have to wait that long. But if you're listening right now, I think that's where we're ending Mandalorian talk, because that gets us kind of into the bad of Netflix. So, Richard, what
Disney
else?
Plus, not
Disney
Netflix.
Plus. Yeah, Netflix is giving you new content all the time. Disney Plus, Richard.
Disney
what are you
Plus?
watching?
There's a bit of a drought. because so Mandalorian's over, and now you have what to watch.
Yeah. You know what I'm excited for? You get Mighty Ducks in June. But I mean, I honestly, my son's been watching a lot of like Chip and Dales and stuff like that, like some of the older cartoons.
See, that's the thing is like my kids are like, I was like, I think I want to get rid of Disney Plus. Like Mandalorian's over. Like, what the fuck point do I have to watch it? And they're like, no, we want to watch fucking Kim Possible and like all these old fucking cartoons. And I'm like, why?
I mean, if they're at least using it, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, there's no new show coming on, and I haven't heard or seen yet, but you and I talked about this offline. It's like, okay, well, why are they offering such a great 1-year deal?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's because like you and I, like, let's say you and I are single and we just have Disney Plus. You know, we don't have any kids or anything like that. At this point in time, I'd be like, you know what? Cancel, which I did technically. I'm going to fire it back up, but cancel it. And then what'll happen is, 8 months, 9 months from now, to be like, oh my God, you remember Disney Plus? All these, new shows are coming out this fall. You're like, all of them what? Well, October, we're going to do Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah. In October, you got Mandalorian. And also in the fall, you're going to have the Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
You're going to have,
that's it, though, right? I think the other one's next year.
I thought there was one more Marvel show that was slated for fall of 2020. I could be wrong.
There might be. Like, some of that stuff felt a little fuzzy to me. But, I mean, at that point, if you're getting 3 shows a week, that's worth it. But, they're going to stagger it. They have to.
So I will say that I think that Disney realized this problem because just recently they announced, they were like, hey, we're putting on new episodes of the Clone Wars in February.
Oh, they are doing new episodes of Clone Wars? Oh, nice.
So you're getting new episodes of the Clone Wars in February because I think they realized, like,
oops.
Yeah. Hey, we put the service out in November, and now it's over in December, and we don't have shit for 8 months.
Yeah. So you mean you've watched all the Marvel movies? Well, what about Star Wars? Oh God! Already?
They did change Star Wars, which I think I mentioned in a earlier episode, like 3 or 4 back. But they did make a change in Star Wars. Or no, sorry, Lucasfilm made a change in Star Wars, and that edit is what's on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
Han and Greedo shoot at exactly the same moment now.
And then the original Han shot first, right?
And the original Han shot first.
Okay.
And then there's that other one that nobody gives a shit about. So let's move on.
But so I'm looking forward to all the Marvel stuff. I am looking forward to the Mighty Ducks because I was actually going to get Mighty Ducks pretty recently because my son's into hockey a little bit. And I feel like, oh my gosh, this is a great movie for you to watch.
Yeah.
We've watched a crap ton of Davy Crockett. They have the old Davy Crockett on there, and my son loves that one. Darkwing Duck, Chip and Dales. But again, yeah, I'm more excited for what's going to come later.
Oh, I heard also that they pushed that WandaVision show earlier. So maybe that's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, so that's going to come out fall this year potentially?
Potentially, nice. Yes.
Well, in that one I'm kind of like excited, but I'm not super pumped for. The What If cartoon. That one I'm really excited for.
Yes, I am too. I love that comic so much. I am interested in the Loki show, Loki television show. Oh, also fucking Obi-Wan.
That's announced, right?
I believe so. Yes, that is announced. So, I mean, that probably won't be until I don't know. It's probably not going to be for at least another year.
Well, and if this technology that they did to shoot this makes it easier to be able to like, hey, guess what? You get to spend, a month at Disney Resort, wherever they shoot this stuff at.
Yeah.
And you can do all this stuff and get it in. And then it's like, okay, now we got 6 months of editing. And then you have a brand new Obi-Wan. You have a brand new, Chewie series. You have a brand new Flash or not Silver Bullet. What was the silver guy? The guy that ran fast.
Quicksilver.
You have a Quicksilver like TV show. Like, it's easy because it's basically we just do these things right away. Like, I'd be down for like that. Like, you get to the point where you have a whole new series every month. I mean, then that's like, it's totally worth your money at that point.
Yeah, if you're able to turn shit around that quick.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like if you do that though, I feel like the material is going to get a little thin.
Potentially. I mean, it depends on. I mean, like if you could get a whole team dedicated to each of those and not reuse teams. So like, who has a huge boner for Quicksilver, and you get like 12 people, and then they do it. So you get the best Quicksilver TV show ever. Obviously, that won't happen because that's going to be a lot of money, and Disney doesn't really have that much. So
no, that's true. They're just an indie studio trying to get by.
But I'm excited for it. Like I said, I'm going to downgrade it a little bit just so I'm only going to do Disney Plus so the kiddo can watch his stuff. But I kind of want to find a good like Star Wars day and watch a bunch of Star Wars with the kiddo.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
I think that's the cool. I know your kids have probably already seen a lot of it, but my kid's getting into that like 4, 5, 6-year-old range where I'll be able to introduce him to all these things.
Yeah. Well, especially like, I mean, fuck, when I was 6 years old, like all I had were 3 movies.
Yeah.
Now like he's got 9 movies. I mean,
3 or 4 TV shows?
No, 11 movies if you count Rogue One and Solo.
Yeah.
So 11 movies, 4 TV shows.
He's going to be covered.
There's an animated, there's that Clone Wars animated movie. Then there's the Clone Wars TV series. Then the Rebels TV series. And that Clone Wars TV series is like, what, 6 seasons?
It's a bunch. And the new one's coming out, like you said, in February.
Yeah, they're saying February.
I've tried to get into that. I get through like 2/3 of season 1 and stuff comes up and I can never finish it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like my kid is making us keep Disney Plus till forever. But what do you have then for some Richard's closing thoughts as we're kind of setting this Clan of 2 down?
I guess I'm kind of, I get the impression that if this service would have started in like, say March of this year, then I feel like the content would be a bit more stacked up and give you that incentive to stick around a bit longer. I don't know, I guess like ultimately for me, the first month was definitely worth $6.99. Just for those 8 episodes of Mandalorian, was that worth $6.99? Yeah, it was. Is it worth $6.99? Is it worth $6.99 now? No, not really. Do I have to keep it anyway because my kids get all pissy with me? Yeah, probably.
I do enjoy that there weren't that many hiccups. I think day 1 there was a few blips, but
yeah, I heard day 1 like a lot of people were having trouble,
which is expected.
But, yeah, but I got home from work. And it worked fine for me.
Yeah, I've had more issues with like Amazon Prime and Netflix than I had Disney so far. Disney always seems to just work.
Yeah, agreed.
But all right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbromance.com. Like us on Facebook. And if you want to see Richard and I get a Clan of 2 tattoo, make sure you join our Patreon account at www.patreon.com/languageofbromance so we can afford those tattoos. And remember, we are part of the Pod Bros Network.
The small rebel faction just trying to make it by on the internet. There it is.
I have spoken.
All
right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
Nope and nope.
All right. Well, that's all the Bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
Remember, don't be a why. Be a why.
A why not?
So, Richard, where are we getting these tattoos at? I'm thinking like right next to my ankle. Right next.
You're such a pussy. Left ass cheek. Let's do this. This is the way.
This is the way.